Thomas Paine, 1737 to 1809, was a prominent political theorist, philosopher, and revolutionary figure during the American and French revolutions in the 18th century. Born in England, Paine became a key figure in the intellectual and ideological foundations of both movements. His influential pamphlet, Common Sense, published in 1776, argued for American independence from British rule and played a significant role in inspiring the Declaration of Independence. Paine's writings were characterized by a clear and persuasive style that appealed to a broad audience. In addition to Common Sense, he authored other influential works, including the American Crisis series, which provided morale-boosting essays during the difficult times of the American Revolutionary War. Later in his life, Paine went to France and became involved in the French Revolution. His work, Rights of Man, defended the principles of the French Revolution and advocated for democratic governance. However, Paine's support for the French Revolution eventually led to his imprisonment during the Reign of Terror. Despite facing challenges and criticism, Thomas Paine's ideas on democracy, individual rights, and the role of government left a lasting impact on the development of political thought and the trajectory of both the American and French revolutions. The harder the conflict, the greater the triumph. Reason obeys itself, and ignorance submits to whatever is dictated to it. To argue with a man who has renounced the use and authority of reason is like administering medicine to the dead. A body of men holding themselves accountable to nobody ought not to be trusted by anybody. The world is my country, all mankind are my brethren, and to do good is my religion. Government, even in its best state, is but a necessary evil. In its worst state, an intolerable one. Character is much easier kept than recovered. Reputation is what men and women think of us. Character is what God and angels know of us. The greatest remedy for anger is delay. Moderation in temper is always a virtue, but moderation in principle is always a vice. Tyranny, like hell, is not easily conquered. Yet we have this consolation with us, that the harder the conflict, the greater the triumph. The mind once enlightened cannot again become dark. The cause of America is in a great measure the cause of all mankind. The most formidable weapon against errors of every kind is reason. When men yield up the privilege of thinking, the last shadow of liberty quits the horizon. Society in every state is a blessing, but government, even in its best state, is but a necessary evil. Those who expect to reap the blessings of freedom must, like men, undergo the fatigue of supporting it. It is error only, and not truth, that shrinks from inquiry. It is necessary to the happiness of man that he be mentally faithful to himself. Whatever is my right as a man is also the right of another, and it becomes my duty to guarantee as well as to possess. The sun never shined on a cause of greater worth. Character is much easier kept than recovered. He that would make his own liberty secure must guard even his enemy from oppression. The greatest tyrannies are always perpetrated in the name of the noblest causes. It is not a God just and good, but a devil under the name of God that the Bible describes. The instant formal government is abolished, society begins to act. A general association takes place. and common interest produces common security. To say that any people are not fit for freedom is to make poverty their choice, and to say they had rather be loaded with taxes than not. The mind once enlightened cannot again become dark. An army of principles can penetrate where an army of soldiers cannot. Reputation is what men and women think of us. Character is what God and angels know of us. To argue with a man who has renounced the use and authority of reason is like administering medicine to the dead. Society in every state is a blessing, but government, even in its best state, is but a necessary evil. He that rebels against reason is a real rebel, but he that in defense of reason rebels against tyranny has a better title to defender of the faith than George III. Government, even in its best state, is but a necessary evil. In its worst state, an intolerable one. The mind once enlightened cannot again become dark. What we obtain too cheap, we esteem too lightly. It is dearness only that gives everything its value. Reason obeys itself, and ignorance submits to whatever is dictated to it. The cause of America is in a great measure the cause of all mankind. It is necessary to the happiness of man that he be mentally faithful to himself. To argue with a man who has renounced the use and authority of reason is like administering medicine to the dead.